Hello my friend, thank you very much for joining me in another FC24 tactics video today. I am Ash as always, and this time around we are taking a look at what Thiago Motta's Juventus system could look like in FC24. Now long-term subscribers may have already seen we've covered his current Bologna tactics, so we're going to translate that to this Juventus team and just make some tweaks and changes here and there to fit the personnel that we have available and kind of predict a little bit what changes we could see if he were to take over at Juventus. As always, if you enjoy the video, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell to get notifications every time I upload, and with that being said, let's get into it. So newcomers to the channel will look at this and see there's a lot of funky stuff going on and be a little bit puzzled by that. Those of you who are subscribers to the channel and did watch that Bologna tactics video, you'll remember what we do. What he likes is he likes his centre backs to actually step up a few yards and kind of receive the ball a little bit further at the pitch. They get closer to the defensive midfielder in this case. Now, that was extremely hard to replicate in the beginning, but we found a way to do it and replicate it very, very accurately in the game. So in this case, what you're looking to do with the two centre-backs is you actually want to move them up to wing-back. So Bremer's at left wing-back and then Gatti is at right wing-back. And it does a phenomenal job of making sure that they will step up a little bit to receive that ball higher at the pitch, which is what he wants because he wants his team to kind of get on the front foot early as early as possible in the build-up. And it helps to create those numerical advantages in the midfield, get more numbers in there, and then it makes it easier for you to play through. So as I say, it does a phenomenal job in the game of doing that, getting them to step up a little bit, but also when you're out of position, they will then regain their position and become centre backs, and that is really, really important. So with that being said, these guys are moved up to wing back, and it's going to be really fun for you guys to do. Then we've got Locatelli at CDM, Kostic and Cambiasso in this case are still at left and right back. With Kostic, obviously under Allegri, they're playing more of that 5-back, and he has played that outside fullback / wing back role. I think Motta would see him as that left back going forward, and he'd move him back to left back in this 4-back. Cambiasso in the meantime, now obviously they are going to make signings if Motta is there as manager. That is natural. But with the current team, I don't think he would want Danilo as that right back or Decilio. I think he would prefer to have Cambiasso. He is someone who has played both right and left this season under Allegri, so you could see him returning there. In the midfield, we've got Moretti as this left central midfielder in this case, but then McKennie is actually pushed up to Cam. So what we're looking for here is we're kind of looking at the personnel that he has in his Bologna team and trying to replicate that. So McKennie, he's pushed up to Cam, but really what we're trying to do is get him as that box-to-box midfielder, and he replicates that Lewis Ferguson role that he has in the Bologna system. McKennie, really, really good to replicate that role. They have similarities in their physique, their playing style, their kind of traits, etc. Whereas Moretti can play more of that deeper ball progressor. Now, I know Motta has actually played with Adrien Rabiot back when they were at PSG together or been in the same squad as him, and you might think that he would prefer him. However, I would be surprised if Rabiot was still there come the end of the season, to be honest. We're always hearing talk about that, so I have gone with Moretti as that central midfielder. For the three forwards, they were normal positioning. Iling Jr. I think he's really going to like. We're seeing him constantly getting kind of filtered into this Juventus team. He's going to like him as that kind of inverted winger. Same with Chiesa, naturally. He's going to really enjoy him, but I think he'd prefer him out on the right this time, getting Iling Jr. out on the left. We'll talk more about Vlahovic's role when we do come onto the player instructions. So let's talk about what we have from a tactical perspective then. A couple of slight tweaks from the Bologna system, but first, before we do that, I want to say if you want to get access to exclusive tactics videos, such as Russell Martin Southampton, we've got Nice, we've got Herness's Stuttgart, we've got Farke's Leeds, we've got Moresta's Leicester, and a whole lot more. You want access to the FC24 tactics package, ranking and rating every real tactic that we cover on the channel, Discord server access, behind the scenes videos of my scouting career, a day in the life of a real football scout, etc. Check out my Patreon, the best way to support the channel. Those guys are keeping the channel going. Without them, I wouldn't have a YouTube channel to kind of justify putting so much time into it. So those guys are the lifeblood of this channel, and you can be that too by checking out the Patreon with the links down below. So with regard to these tactical instructions then, defensive style, we've got a press after possession loss to implement a counter pressing system. The team width is going to be on 20, it's going to be nice and compact, and in the depth this time a little bit higher than what we had in the Bologna video. I think it will be a high block, and they are going to be on 70 this time. Offensively, what do we have? Well, we have slow build up, and then we have possession as well. It's going to be very, very obvious and self-explanatory. In that case, they want to progress through the thirds, they want to retain possession. It is more of a vertical possession based system though, so it is worth bearing that in mind. The width is going to be on 30, the lowest you can have in the balanced remit before it becomes narrow, and it's important that you don't go too wide with this, not only to complement that possession-based style, but also because we've obviously got those wing backs as centre backs, and it will kind of mess with the integrity of them as well. Players in the box is going to be on 8. You might get 5 or even 6 sometimes players in the box in crossing situations. They're going to want to commit, they're going to want to get men forward, and they have the players to do that as well. And then corners and free kicks, both of these are on 4. So let's start with the player instructions then, shall we? Szczesny in goal. We've got him when it comes to cross and sweeper keeper. Now, Szczesny isn't really a sweeper. That isn't his style, but that is what Motta wants. And he wants his keeper also in possession to step up and contribute to that possessional phase. So whether Szczesny's there or whether they sign someone else, we'll see. But ultimately, he needs to contribute in this regard. So as a result, we've got to have him on sweeper keeper, and if not, they will find a replacement. With the 2 centre backs, we've got them, Bremer in this case, on balanced attack, and then his run type on inverted. And that's also the same with Gatti as well. And as I say, this is the best way to replicate that centre back stepping up a few yards and contributing to that possessional phase of play more higher up the pitch. With the 2 fullbacks, Cambiasso in this case, he's on stay back whilst attacking and mixed attack, whereas Kostic is going to be that attacking fullback who is on journey attack and then on overlap as well. Something that we did in that Bologna tactics video, and we are just replicating it here. Kostic, of course, very suited to being that attacking fullback as a kind of converted wing back. Locatelli as the defensive midfielder, he is a ball progressor. He's going to be a kind of a deeper playmaker. He's on cut passing lanes for the defensive behaviour to complement their zonal orientated press, and then his attacking support is going to be on stay back whilst attacking. Defensive position is cover centre, and then position freedom is actually on stick to position. If you're on deep line playmaker, with the 2 centre backs being wing backs in this case, you might notice that they will then drop into the defensive line and drop in between the centre backs. You don't really want that. That's not really what he looks for. He wants them to stay in midfield as that defensive midfielder and help get that kind of box 4 in midfield. So as a result, you want it on stick to position. Moretti as that kind of deeper lying playmaker. He's on stay back whilst attacking, and then support on crosses this time is on balanced crossing runs. His positioning freedom is stick to position, and his defensive position is cover wing. Now McKennie we already spoke about. He's that box-to-box midfielder. He's going to play that Lewis Ferguson role in this case, and he's very suited to do that with the ideal traits for it really. He's on comeback on defence again, getting tracking back, getting to the box of the cross. This time his position freedom is going to be on drift wide. With Cambiasso naturally not supporting the attacks as much, you're going to want to make sure that you're supporting Chiesa and that he isn't isolated out wide. So McKennie is going to be the one to do that with him on drift wide. With the 2 wingers then, starting off with Illing Jr. He's on comeback on defence again. Chance creation is cut inside. Support runs is going to be unbalanced. Obviously, he's got Kostic supporting him more, so more and more likely he's going to be on cut inside. But support runs, not always looking to run him behind. Sometimes he's going to support that striker we will talk about a little bit later on. Support on crosses is getting to the box of the cross. A little bit different with Chiesa. He's on comeback on defence again, but this time his chance creation is stay wide, as he will be the one who is going to stretch the play over on this right-hand side with the fullback not getting forward. His support runs are going to be on getting behind. He's going to want to penetrate in behind the back line, and his support runs on crosses is getting to the box of the cross. Now, Vlahovic, it's a little bit different. You guys will remember in the Bologna tactics video, Xerxes was that false 9, and that's something that has been quite integral to this system. Now, Vlahovic, it just doesn't suit his style. It doesn't suit his traits to be able to replicate that role. However, you know, they've got quite a hefty investment in Vlahovic. He is the one kind of going forward. Really, Milik would have been more suited to that role, but I just can't see him kind of leaving Vlahovic out. So as a result, this time, rather than false 9, he's going to be on target player. And that's why we've kind of rotated and changed and altered a couple of instructions around him as well. We don't want him running in behind. We want him to kind of contribute to that defensive play, but rather than him dropping off, he's just going to be a target player. His support runs are going to be on stay central, and his defense support is going to be stay forward. And so with that being said, we are ready to finish it there. If you found this helpful, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell to get notifications every time I upload, and obviously don't forget to check out my Patreon, the best way to support the channel. With that being said, I'm going to finish it there. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and until the next one, I will see you soon.